Not even a couple, just one.
Just one. And a phytoform and a fish
right.
and far away. So possibly maybe 3 species so far.
Well, it's turning into a little bit of sediment here, but that was exciting. I think, well, let's see. Pretty much is showing what the bathymetry is showing us. It's starting to level off a bit. But some pretty amazing topography at this particular wall.
Yeah, you've got tether to go over there if you want. If you want to try to see if you find a loose rock.
Okay.
Tilting down.
Any of this stuff look collectible?
I mean, yeah, between the two big rocks, there's some rocks. Can you zoom in, video?
There's a pile off to the right as well. Maybe that one to the right here. I mean, the problem with these rocks, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, but you know, if there's anything here that is loose, we would actually at least like to try.
Okay.
Even though this looks like it's in a pile of fallen material, so it may not be in place, but you know, beggars can't be choosers, and if we can get a rock, that's one more rock than we had.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, we can try that.
And if none of these work, there's some rocks off to the right too.
Okay. Are we moving or?
I think we are. I think it's okay.
Is it about?
It's about halfway through. Should I stop it?
Looks pretty sandy up ahead.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
I think we're okay. Yeah, let's leave it.
We're not going to pass D2.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave it, and then we'll be set up
to
leave when he's done. I'll put Sirius camera on your bottom monitor, Sean.
Copy. I'll get eyes on it.
Yeah, you gotta do it from your panel.
Ah, okay.
Oh,
strange that we have the buttons here.
It's a false sense of power.
Ah.
Okay.
Right.
Can you press my J lock?
Yep.
Copilot. All right. I think we're stable.
Okay. I'll take your mini Zeus.
Thank you. Okay. So, are we ready to turn on the arm?
Okay. I'm going to boot up hydraulics.
Okay. We're ready?
So, before we start up, what's your...
I was just gonna like bring the hand completely closed.
Okay. Okay. And then which box do you want to put it in? And okay. Yeah, I mean, then you don't have to worry about the lid. I can wing inboard to help make it easier. So we'll go for starboard rock box. Okay. Okay, that sounds like a good plan. It's the one on the left.
Okay.
Yeah, minis, this is a little hot, Roland. Thanks. I'm going to move your mini Zeus to center up the rock. Yeah. Yep.
It's definitely laying under the sediment.
Yeah. You could maybe try to hook. You see how there's a little ledge on the bottom? You could try to kind of hook the fingers under that and pull up and see how big it is, because we're not sure how much rock is under the sediment, how much is exposed. So I'm coming up to 18 meters delta, Sean, looking down at 70 degrees, but we should be about settled out at this point, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Seems reasonable. You're slipping a bit though. So I think that you should pull the arm away for a bit, because notice how much you're moving. So just get it up out of the way, because we're going to reposition you to make sure we're stable. So why don't you go ahead and get both toes back into the sand, and so you're pushing down real hard right now, you see that? So I would turn your head a little more to port, because you see how your right toe is still up in the water column, but your left toe's touching down. So just rotate. Try to nudge your right toe up against that rock. And that'll help hold you in place. There you go. So now give yourself a little bit of downward thrust. Now just a tad bit of forward thrust. Just a touch. Yeah. Okay, you want me to hit joy lock? Okay. And what I'd also recommend is when you do joy lock, when you're setting up for a sample, also use auto heading. So that'll help keep your positioning. So now you're more stable, right? I think you could try to pick it up, see if you can get, just the edge of your fingers on the top and the bottom there, and see if you can kind of lift it up. Okay. So you could kind of, do you know what I mean if I say to feather in the jaws, where you kind of just lightly press the trigger, you'll kind of bring the jaws to a close, like a partial close. And just kind of slowly, yep. Might bring your bottom fingers maybe a little more under the rock. There you go. Go ahead and give it a good lift. I think it's free. I think you might be pushing your arm forward, which is pushing you back, but if you just lift up with the shoulder. Yep. See how, pause there. You see you're trying to lift it up by, and I think what you're doing, you're either, I can't tell if you're extending your elbow or lifting up on your wrist, but you see how you're lifting it up and you're actually pushing it forward. And that's why you started to get D2 getting pushed back, because you would grab the rock and then you were pushing the arm forward as you were trying to come up, and you're pushing the whole vehicle back. So try to just you know, lift up with the shoulder and bring the elbow down so that you pull it straight up. Exactly. Yep. You got to reset yourself. Yep. Good. Yep. And I'm gonna bring your mini-zis over, and then I'm gonna wing your starboard wing inboard. That'll make it easier. So starboard wing inboard. And there it is. I'm going to bring your camera down a little more. So you've hit a stop, and I think it's your shoulder up. Your shoulder can't go up anymore, but see how your elbow is extended out, and your wrist is kind of extended out. Sure. Yep. Yep. Your elbow. Yep. That's your wrist. But you do need to do that as well. Yeah, it's elbow and wrist. You can both bring those both down a little bit. So now, yep. Okay, hold on. So you see how your wrist is bent? So bring your wrist yaw to the left. Okay, lift. Now you want to lift your shoulder, so bring your shoulder back a little bit. Your shoulder. See your shoulder, see it's maxed out? There you go. Okay, here's what we're going to do now. You're going to wrist pitch up a little bit. Just do it one joint at a time. Wrist pitch up. Good. Now hold that. Now what I want you to do, exactly, you got it. And you might need to wrist pitch down a little bit to make sure your rock goes in the box, but you're close. Yep, there you go. And tail end of your rock is hitting the box. You see it on your manip cam. There you go. So I think you're good now, so you can let go of the jaws. Okay, now slowly think about how you're going to bring it out. There's no rush. Good, your jaws are clear. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and bring it back into stow position. Yep, that's good. Yep. Okay. Yep, that's fine. Just go. Wait, before you do that, you want to index out again. Okay. Go ahead and kill hydraulics on the craft. There you go. Nice job.
For folks on shore, we're in the midst of a pilot change after collecting a rock in this area of the Jaguey Spur, south of the southwest corner of Puerto Rico. These rocks are helpful to our geologists on shore to better understand the underlying geology in the region. Welcome, pilot. I think that's the goal. That sounds great. Yeah. Try and make it to waypoint 2. We'll see what we can do.
Pilot?
All right. Welcome, Nav.
Pilot.
Could you give us a rough bearing to waypoint 2?
Sure.
I think it's about northeast, but
I'm gonna guess 4-7. Oh, 2-5 was way off.
2-5.
2-7.
Yep. Sirius's bearing is 27 to waypoint 2.
All right. And that
Sean was saying that they're just kind of, well,
going uphill.
yeah, that he was following a ridge, but
Video switching out.
Thank you, video.
All right. I'm lined up at 27.
Yep. All right. Well,
and
sonar.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead.
Oh, here I can do my sonar out. I think they just turned this into flats. They were probably doing small moves before.
Right.
Do you want me to bring your lowers out a little bit?
Yes, please. Sonar's clear ahead. Why don't we do 30 at
So we're just tracking
025.
along some seafloor here for the shoreside folks. After doing a brief rock collection, we are approaching waypoint 2 after coming up a rather steep wall at a depth of 2,631 meters. We've climbed about 150 meters since we first arrived on the seafloor, and it's pretty much probably the most astounding 150
Sounds good enough.
meters of vertical relief that I've seen on this cruise so far.
Yeah.
Some really amazing walls, you know, very craggy, lots
deployed.
of relief.
Hi, we'd like to request
Not
a ship
just
move.
these smooth,
Range 30 meters.
kind of
Bearing
carbonate
025 degrees.
walls
Speed
we've
decimal
been
2
seeing
knots.
lately. A lot of attached organisms, both long dead and some new.
Good copy. Thank you, Bridge.
Very excited about that corallium we saw.
This is
Have
just
to
like
check
yesterday.
the depth range for that particular
Yeah, the
species in the Western Atlantic.
Sandy situation.
But this is pretty darn deep.
Yeah, we clocked it at 26. I'm trying to find.
I see there's kind of a
Yeah,
ridge over here. Maybe this is what they're
2,630
following.
meters. So that's steep. Now we reach this more sediment-dominated area. And still going uphill.
So now, since we're almost 3 times as deep as probably the deepest dive you've navigated on, you got to think about the delay. For Sirius, it could be as much as
So for
4 to 6
that
minutes.
particular
at this step.
species, which is corallium, possibly corallium niobe, the
So
hollow
it's not
type
as
was
easy as when it's shallow or
off
it's
of
immediate.
Florida at around 650 meters.
Oh,
So what I
But it's been caught from the central Atlantic up to 1,500 meters in
it's
trawl
some of
bycatch.
what's good for the pilot to do is, I know we took a rock, the ship was stopped, and now I know I can't go anywhere for 5 minutes. So I
From
just
these
have to
collections,
zigzag
there's not a lot
around,
of detailed information about corallium
exploring where
below
I am. I
2,000
don't just want
meters,
to sit
so,
still.
or for that matter, below even
I mean, this is
1,500
really
meters.
bare, so I'm going to have
So
trouble
this is
here.
a
But
pretty phenomenal
if there were a few
Yeah.
rocks
depth
here, I would
observation. If not for that
zigzag,
species,
look at a
then
rock,
for
even
that
if it weren't
family.
you know,
very cool.
of extreme importance, just to keep everything moving. And then Sirius would move. And then I would try to get out ahead with Sirius so that we knew we were safe and you could let it swing and then right away call out another move. But I'm going to have some trouble here. So, yeah, what time did you call the move in?
2 minutes ago.
Okay, so yeah, it'll be a few minutes before Sirius moves. But point 2 is pretty fast, so all of a sudden Sirius will be kind of coming towards me. And the sonars are very important now as a tool, because if you call in a 30-meter move and 20 meters ahead of Sirius is a wall, then there's not much you can do. So that's another reason to keep T2 out ahead just before you call the move, because the tether is, 30 meters long. So as long as my sonar is clear, then we can keep, because Sirius's sonar is a little, doesn't show a lot of detail. So yeah, it's kind of a dance, and if you get the timing right, there's not a lot of wasted time waiting. some of the timing has to do with when the scientists ask for a zoom or a sample. If they ask for it, sorry, 1 second. If they ask for a sample right now, it'd be great because Cirrus isn't going to pass me for, 10 minutes or something. Or I've got plenty of time anyway. If I got a little bit close to Sirius and then we called in the move anyway, and then they asked for a sample, that's just really bad timing because
then you still have the swing. You have to wait.
yeah, no matter what the ship does, Sirius is going to pass overhead. I only have a few minutes. Samples take more than a few minutes, so you can get advanced and actually back the ship up, the equal amount you had to go forward, and then let Sirius kind of go forward and back. That doesn't happen very often. Think you're moving yet, co-pilot?
Yeah, you're just starting to move.
Nice.
Yeah, so looks like a 5-minute delay or so.
We zoom out on HIPAC, kind of see where we are in the world, at least of this ridge. See, there's no distinct steep rock to sand on HIPAC.
Yeah, you can see how it's steep, and then
Yeah.
it flattens.
Yeah, but not, the contours aren't dramatically flattened there.
I'm looking at the quad
Good copy.
screen
Thank
and
you,
can
Bridge.
see the navigation map there, and it does appear like we're getting into broader contour lines, so I guess I'm not surprised that we have this sediment now, and so I'm really glad that we did start this dive deeper on this kind of ridge-like feature so that we saw some of those exposed rocks.
Agreed, Scott.
So it seems like a little bit to
So yeah, it
Sirius's
looks like
port is the
it's
ridge.
moderating a little bit, and it's mostly just sediment dominated here. A couple of holothurians, but not much else. But really excited. We did get a chance to sample a couple things, rocks and some other biology where we could. I think this is definitely a feature in a depth range that would be worth exploring. Again, if we had another dive in this area.
Curious what's around the corner, Carl?
Maybe.
There might be a fish. Kind of has a fish
So
form right in the middle
Yeah,
of
that
the
looks
screen.
like a fish.
Yeah.
Have an off-bottom time of 55.
55.
Yeah. So we got
Is,
about,
is that with a buffer?
yeah, that's with 10 extra minutes for testing.
Oh, testing what?
I don't know. Sean said that there was some hydrophone stuff. Is that correct?
We could do. There's some stuff we could do.
Oh, like turn the lights and thrusters off?
You wanted to?
I would.
That'll take about 5 minutes, probably. Not even. I think it's recording.
Looks like it might be a tripod fish.
Yeah. Okay, video, free to zoom.
Yeah, Bathypteris.
Bathypterois, yeah.
Pteros.
Yeah, looks like a tripod fish. Thanks, pilot. Can move on.
You're welcome. Okay, video, if you want to come out to lasers, just get that again. All right, whenever you're clear, video.
So we got 10 minutes left?
Yeah.
Okay. Want to do one more jump?
Yeah, how long ago did the ship stop?
About 3 minutes ago, so Sirius should be catching up to you.
I'll come back to center, then we can think about another one. So how are our headings here? I have 0.8 turns here. Of course, I'm going sideways.
So tenemos más o menos
I turn to
15 o
starboard.
10 minutos más
Add
de
0.3
este
to mine.
buceo.
Subtract
Hoy
0.3
estamos
from
buceando en una
yours.
cuesta
0.4.
suroeste
turn
de la
left.
costa de Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
Turn right, turn left.
Empezamos a la profundidad
Yeah, you turn
de
right. I turn
2700 y ahora estamos en 2600 más o menos.
But we can just, I can just drive. If we go cheat a little to the east, then I can just drive straight under you. And we'll be kind of going southwest for when the ship gets going.
Sounds good.
Otherwise, I have to drive kind of sideways under you. Yeah, Nev, how far away is waypoint 2 now? See, it's, oh, it's still 90. Oh, no, that's the ship. 24 meters. Yeah, let's go, let's do another 30.
That was bearing. I think it's
Sounds
45 meters. From
Oh, whoops.
Nope.
You're right. Yeah, let's do another 30.
Okay. Bridge, this is ROV nav.
They're basically the same co-pilots.
We get another
25,
ship move, same as last. Range 30 meters, bearing 025 degrees, speed 0.2 knots. Good copy. Thank you, Bridge.
And we would like to say hello to the Pierpont Elementary School in Ventura, California, Mrs. Lawson's and Mrs. Robinson's class that are tuning in with us right now.
Should put some highlight videos on the screen too.
We've had a couple classes tune in today, one from in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and now again in California.
Thanks for sticking with us today. We've had a pretty great dive. Nav, this is Watchley.
Go ahead, Watchley.
Could you give us an estimate of bottom time?
We have another 7 to 10 minutes or so. So
Thank
we
you.
just initiated another move, and this will probably be the last little jump.
Yeah, I think, needless to say, we've had a pretty extraordinary dive today for as short as it has been. We've only been on the bottom since about 10:30.
10:30, yeah.
10:30 in the morning today, local time, which is Atlantic Standard Time. It's approaching 3 o'clock now, but we've had a pretty extraordinary series of little hills and outcrops in the wall of the side of this ridge feature off the very tip of the Jaguey Spur,
Okay. Thanks.
which is off the southwest corner of Puerto Rico. I think it's probably been one of the more exciting depth ranges
Is
because
it anywhere now?
a lot of the
Survey-
things we've
survey
seen
two.
we haven't been
Oh,
able
cool.
to identify firmly to the species level, and we tried to make some collections to
I think I
understand
just heard the US
the
bell.
diversity of life here.
Mine's really loud.
We've
Maybe
tried
you
to
can change the
also
survey
collect
to-
some
I
geological
have it
specimens
at
to better
+6.
understand the underlying
Okay, well,
geology of the seafloor here.
Oh, sorry. Oh,
The
you
past few days
made
we've
that
been
one
diving
yesterday.
in much shallower areas of the ocean south of Puerto Rico.
Thank
Pretty
you,
much
video.
right along
That'd
the
be
coast, within about 10 miles of the
great.
coast for the past 3
Got it
days.
to nav as well.
And we've been looking at some of the deeper ends of the depth range for deep water commercial fishes in the area, as well as for deep water coral and sponge habitats. So we did see a number of deep water corals today, as well as some pretty enigmatic deep sea critters
This
like
is amazing.
sea stars.
I know one of the green sea vehicles has it.
That are very poorly known from this depth in the western Atlantic.
Verts, I think.
We tried to make a collection,
That's laterals.
You can hear the verts are
but
way
it didn't
louder.
quite work out. The vehicles were a little bit difficult to position to grab that particular organism, which happens from time to time.
I was thinking we could disable thrusters and then open contactors for every thruster except one and see if any one thruster has more noise than the rest. But thanks, Colin.
If you're in the science party and you received
Wait,
the dive plan last
What's the
night,
point
and you're
of
following along, we're
disabling
in the
thrusters and lights
vicinity
now
of
if,
waypoint
if there's
2,
no more noise?
which you should actually be able to see on,
This is a,
I think,
that's what you
feed
have
3
been
in one of the
doing,
quad
just as a
screens.
comparison.
Okay, because there's a little noise on that, but
Waypoint 2 is sitting
Yeah.
at around
Still is something at 700 hertz. We don't know what it is.
2,500 meters,
Wow.
almost 2,600 meters water
But yeah,
depth.
this is an order of magnitude better than
And we anticipate it, I guess, to be more or less like
this
we've
is amazing
been seeing,
after 9 years.
this type of substrate now for the past maybe 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
We started at the substrate and we're finishing.
yeah, soft, starting with soft, ending with soft, and some like
probably not.
crazy, freaky
Mountainous.
mountains in the middle, which is kind
Yeah,
of
the verts are
how
pretty
things
loud.
go sometimes.
Yeah.
It's a nice
Agree.
change up.
I think it's because they're attached to.
At least we don't have to pull off the bottom in the middle of
Front
that
back,
wall,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
that would have just been a really pretty,
Yeah. I think we'll all be disappointed.
pretty sad. Yeah.
And I forgot to relay a message to the Pierpont Elementary School. We did shrink your cups yesterday.
What about setting down on a rock?
Um,
We don't have any here, but
so
I
I'm
bet that
guessing
makes some noise.
you'll receive them after this cruise.
Oh yeah.
I think I heard like the pins though.
One of the things that we like to do as oceanographers, marine biologists at sea, we send down styrofoam cups to see how the pressure shrinks gas-filled spaces, like styrofoam, which has a lot of air inside of it, shrinks down proportionally to the depth that we send it down to.
Yeah, I couldn't.
And
It's
So
really
somewhat
cool.
yeah,
I
they
mean,
shrink quite a bit.
Yeah.
And whatever you decorate on them, for example, if you write in Sharpie marker or draw on them, it shrinks proportionally as well.
Sure.
Usually I try and do at least once per cruise, just kind of as keepsake or memento.
I'm going to do my cups,
Yeah.
hopefully today. I think there's
I think we might have
coloring
another,
activity.
I'm anticipating another possible deep dive tomorrow, and we have another deep dive scheduled maybe after that. We'll see how it goes.
Christmas gifts.
Yeah. Did that one year.
Yeah, we could. Can I spare one?
They
Can
make
do it.
very good ornaments.
Ah,
You put a hook in it.
yeah. Cool.
Ready? You ready, Ron?
So let's see. We're probably got about 5 minutes left on bottom for shoreside scientists. Since we are a bit deeper today, I think we'll take a couple
copy.
minutes
Thank you,
break
Rich.
between maybe 5 minutes break from when we end the dive today to when we start the post-dive call.
That's it.
And we will be discussing today some changes, some modifications to the schedule to take into account the weather that we anticipate for
I heard
the
it. That's
middle
pretty
to
cool.
beginning of next week. So don't miss that if you want to
I think a lot
provide
of
your
noise
input.
is
We
the-
greatly appreciate it. In our last few minutes today, we'll summarize the collections we've made. We collected a bamboo coral fairly early on when we were climbing this wall. A bamboo coral that was pretty poorly known from this area.
Oh, there's
a sea pen.
A sea pen.
Oh, can we go?
Pilot, can we? There's something right at the. Yeah. I think this is our first one.
Yeah, I'm wondering.
And if it's the one that we saw yesterday, it could be a.
Looks a little bit different,
yeah,
right?
looks a little bit smaller, like thinner.
At first, I thought it was a crinoid on a polychaete tube, but we're in the right depth range for Umbellula.
I think it's a stocked crinoid.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
it did look a little bit fouled for.
After this, Carl, is it
crinoid?
Yeah, for a sea pen, but it kind of had that profile at the beginning. But I think
it is. Yeah.
Stocked crinoid here.
So the students that are listening and watching this video, this is a crinoid, a stock crinoid. There are some crinoids that are unstocked, and this is a relative of the sea urchins and sea cucumbers. This is an echinoderm. That's the mouth apparatus that we're zooming in on. Oh, it looks like it has brand
on it.
Is there?
I think it looks like it has new branches.
Yeah, it's a 10-armed crinoid, but I don't see the sea star you're talking about, video.
I see something red that might be a parasite.
Just to the see the brown streamers.
Brown streamers.
Yeah.
Coming to the center. Is that actually? I guess maybe it is part of its feeding.
Yeah, I thought it was that, but it does look a little odd, right? That there are.
Yeah. It's like a crinoid on top of a crinoid.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's a brittle star with.
Just the central disc is somewhat transparent in the center there, so you're seeing the water vascular system appears to be raised above, but I think it's just that it's fairly transparent, and the dark stuff is actually internal organs.
Yeah.
And the red dot looks like maybe it could be a parasite of some sort.
Yeah, there may be a amphipod or something in
full
there.
screen.
Maybe. Sometimes we find the
It's
parasites.
a nice view to see those little tube feet. So these are, as you said, relatives of sea stars and brittle stars, and all of them have these tube feet that are controlled by the water vascular system, which is basically this internal plumbing. And those brown lines that you saw kind of interconnecting at the center or branching if you go in the other way are part of that system.
All right, video's clear.
I was just thinking about how deep the sediment is here. I know there are some stalked crinoids that burrow into the sediment and probably grow like that, but usually the ones that grow this deep are sometimes attached to the hard bottom. So I'm curious if this is an indicator of what's underneath. Thanks, Pilot. It's been a great dive.
Stacy, you had my hopes up there for a sea pen at the end.
Ah, sorry. Oh, no, I'm not sorry. That was the sea pen. Take that back.
So shoreside, I'm going to amend my my statement about the dive planning meeting. I just want to check with Derek about his readiness here, and we'll begin when he's ready since he just had an interaction. But I will, let's say 10 minutes, and then I'll update in the chat if we're delayed further. But about 10 minutes, we'll start the dive planning call, and we'll plan for the next 2 days, or as best we can. All right, so thanks for joining us today, everyone, both if you're watching us from GCFI or if you
GCFI, Eco-Exploratorio,
California, Boston, at the
Japan,
yep.
Germany, Russia,
all over the world.
United States,
throughout the Caribbean. Thanks for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow for another day of exploration in the morning, Atlantic Standard Time. But yeah.
Thank you to all the shoreside scientists that have been on this call.
Also, yeah.
Thank you.
Providing us some great information, some context about what we're seeing on the seafloor.
Just so you guys know, back on the shore, you're going to be seeing the lights and stuff go off. We're doing some vehicle testing, so just doing some power stuff on the vehicle. See the ROV's view through the moonlight lighting provided by Sirius.